Outside of the public's eye, women's preferences are revealed through online dating habits. What we've learned is that 80% of women only want the top 20% of men. A few men get all the women. The rest are invisible. I'll explain why you could be one of the invisible 80% of men who never receive a woman's attention, and how you can work to become the elite 20% of men that do. Life isn't fair, so why should dating be? Unfortunately, these days, the dating economy is looking more like a dictatorship in favor of women. As a matter of fact, the male versus female dating economy is as unjust as a country in decline. I'll prove it to you by comparing the dating economy to the economy of countries using something called the Gini coefficient. The Gini coefficient is a measurement of a country's inequality based on a numerical value, meaning that a low-value number, let's say 0%, represents perfect equality, while a higher value number such as 100% indicates complete inequality. Let's apply those values to the online dating economy. If all women are seen as equally attractive by all men, then the Gini coefficient is 0%. But if one man is seen as very attractive while all other men are seen as completely unattractive, then the Gini coefficient is 100%. Running the Gini coefficient with data from Tinder, the online dating economy scored a dreadful 58%. Think about this. If Tinder was a country, the economy has more inequality than 95.1% of all countries on the planet. This means that the dating economy for women is akin to a society with a few poor, some middle class, and a handful of millionaires. On the other hand, the dating economy for men is closer to a society with a handful of multi-billionaires, and the masses are extremely poor. Makes sense why the world is actually a pretty dark place for the average man. Speaking of a dark place, you know that girl you're trying to impress? She probably sees you as pretty average. With just a few tips, I will put you in the top 20% of elite men she's programmed to look for. Listen, don't be upset that women only want the top 20%. This is pre-programmed in their biological nature. Females often choose mates based on the choices of other peer females. For instance, in nature, female birds will copy the mate choice of another female to ensure survival. Why? Because it's the safer bet. To see if women prefer men that have already been pre-selected, the Journal of Experimental Social Psychology took 184 college students. 97 were women, 87 were men. Each participant saw images of the opposite sex and were told if that person was either single or in a relationship. The results showed that single women were more interested in pursuing somebody that were already in a relationship. This effect is called mate choice copy. Biologically, women on their own have more to lose in a long-term relationship. They get pregnant for 9 months, have a recovery period, and a child to take care of. So resources needed in this process increase. This is called the parental investment theory. This is why women prefer men slightly older with resources and status. Women prefer a man that has been pre-selected because that means another woman has already vetted him, and there's likely a higher chance of success. So just by being on Tinder by default, that puts you into the bucket of men that have not been pre-selected. Understand what I just said. Do you really think that dating account is helping you right now? This is the main reason why women find most men on dating apps unattractive, or better yet, not desired by other women. Tinder is a gamble, and you're not a safe bet. On top of that, online dating is fast-paced. Women analyze quickly for signs of high genetic quality and resources. Hence, this is why the top 20% of men get all the attention. Your body shape is one of those quick markers that women look for in online dating. The top 20% of men are physically fit or athletic. Obesity is seen as one of the most unattractive traits by women. And the CDC states that 80% of people are overweight. You keep seeing 80 and 20 percentiles a lot. And let me tell you why. This is something called the Pareto principle. This principle states that a small number of contributing factors often have a significant impact on the majority of outcomes. Take a breath and understand what I'm showing you. Do you think it's coincidence that women run to the top 20% of men? It reflects women's exact mating preference. The good news is, you can do these two things to obtain the body shape of the top 20%. Number one, use performance clothes to signal athleticism. In a case study, this was actually proven. Researchers took pictures of participants in fitted athletic clothes and loose-fitted athletic clothes. And wouldn't you know it, out of 2,386 people surveyed, Majority agreed that athletes in fitted performance clothes were more athletic than athletes in loose fitted clothes. When you do wear performance clothes, make sure it's premium quality so it doesn't come across as cheap. For example, I love wearing my Leo Revere compression shirts. They're handmade in small batches, made out of durable fabric that tapers the body into a perfect, ideal V shape for men. Basically, slimming down the midsection. It also has a secondary effect of motivating you to actually be athletic. This is called enclothed cognition, or how clothes affect the wearer's mind. For example, when I put on my Leo Revere compression gear on, my mind is switched into I have to go work out. Not to mention that the fabric itself helps increase blood flow, and it supports your muscles so they don't get fatigued and you can push harder physically. The second thing you can do is eat protein in every meal to recomposition your body. Body recomposition is the process of burning off fat while putting on muscle at the same time. Eating more protein makes you feel full while consuming less food, and it provides the best nutrients to increase muscle mass, which adds to your overall strength. So just making sure you always have some type of protein with every meal will have your body looking muscular. And the athletic clothes I just mentioned will make you look 10 times better. You can find great fitness clothes anywhere, but if you want to wear top of the line gear that shapes your body like a high-performing athlete, check out Leo Revere by clicking the link down below, and don't forget to use our special code. 58% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. 23% of Americans are not working at all. Remember, your resources are what makes a man most valuable due to the cost of parenting for women. They're looking for the 19% that aren't broke. Also, notice how the Pareto principle is almost perfect here as well. 80% of men are broke, and 20% of men have more than enough resources. I'm going to show you a few subtle signs of wealth you can deploy to be perceived as the top 20% of earner. First, make sure your clothing has no brand logos. The wealthy class don't buy brand name. They buy well-made pieces that are timeless. A trick to save money is to buy pieces you can wear on multiple occasions. For example, Leo Revere has a pair of Roma pants that are made out of beech trees. I can dress them up to go to the office or take them to the gym. That's quiet luxury. Second, remain private. Don't overshare on your Tinder profile, social media, or on a first date. The elite group of men prioritize wealth and privacy. It also gives you this mysterious factor. Make her work for curiosity. Third, emphasize life experiences. Have stories and pictures of you traveling. This is something that does not have to be expensive if you plan accordingly. The last thing you want is to come across as average when it comes to dating. Most men think that being a 4, 5, or 6 is a good thing, but you can do better. If you are an average-looking man, your chances of being liked are 0.87%. That's 1 out of 115 women on Tinder. Do you really think that women's preferences change outside of dating apps? There are 2 things you can do to fix it that have been proven to keep you out of the average zone. Number 1, you're trying way too hard. Too many guys will either overdress or dress flashy to grab attention. The problem is that most guys do the same thing with their profiles. This makes you average. Number 2, you don't have a beard. Researchers ran a split test on a guy with and without a beard. The results showed that the guy with the beard was deemed more attractive by the majority of women. So having a beard actually makes you more attractive. You understand why only a few men win with women. The female economy is unfair. You're not a safe bet. You need to invest in your body. You're financially unappealing, and you're doing what every other average guy does. Sure, it's a reality check for men, and that's not women's fault. But here's how you hack the game to win with this last trick. You go after the wrong women. The reason you get put into the average bucket is because you're thinking like every other man, and you're all messaging the same women. On an attractive scale of 1 to 5, most men are messaging the 3s and 4s. 3 and 4s get 5 times as many messages as average girls, and 28 times as many as below average girls. Good luck getting those girls' attention. Too many men believe they're gonna get a response. You won't. Go against that natural inclination and message the 2.5s and the 5s. The competition is less. You skip the lower numbers because you don't see the value. But just as you're working on yourself, so are women, and there's nothing better than growing with your partner. You skip the 5s because you believe they're too attractive. Chances are that if you think that way, the average guy thinks that way as well. But here's the difference. You're listening to me now. Welcome to the top 20%.